truly before now, I didn't really know what actually a mouthpiece was designed for, other than to keep you from clinking your teeth together or biting your tongue. I had no idea that it was to align your jaw. The season that we did not use the Power Plus, we lost 4 kids, 2 that were season-ending concussions, and obviously we contributed to the Power Plus mouth guard because, like I said, we've not had one since we've been using them. Obviously, we've competed a lot better than what we did last year. We have not had a concussion this season. Obviously, a tremendous factor for us for not losing kids, and their performance level is a lot higher as well. My son was actually the quarterback on the second state championship team, but one of the things that he was able to do as being the quarterback, the mouth guard was on the lower part of his bite, so he was able to speak clearly. And that's a huge thing in athletics, is to be able to communicate.
Here at L4 Media, we talk high school football, 4A, 3A, and 2A in Texas. We talk East Texas sports. We talk NFL, guy talk, movie and booze. We also talk wrestling and so much more. So like and subscribe and check us out.
Struggling with mobility, chronic pain, work, or sports injury? At Azalea Orthopedics, our team of highly trained physicians specialize in complete orthopedic care, pain management, sports medicine, physical medicine, and rehabilitation. If you've sustained a bone or joint injury, have mobility or movement problems, struggle with pain, contact Azalea Orthopedics. We're conveniently located across East Texas, serving 18 counties. When visiting your doctor, urgent care, or hospital, you have a choice. Demand Azalea. At Azalea Orthopedics, your health is our priority.
The Northeast Texas Sports Network is dedicated on delivering the most entertaining sports broadcasts in East Texas. And if you're interested in having your next sporting event streamed live, visit us online at netsn.live.
Well, good evening, everyone. I'm KO Kyle Owens, Mr. Red Zone, host of this weekly wrap-up show this week. Got my man Vince with me. What's up, Vince?
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
I'm good, bro. I'm good.
Yeah, we got some. This is our almost last week of the regular season. Can you believe it's almost here? Already?
Yeah, it's here, man. It's here. It don't never take long.
No, it doesn't. CM, what's good, baby?
What's happening?
How you doing?
I'm making it, man. Got a bunch of basketball on. Trying to eat dinner. Done dinner, so I'm good. Good, baby.
Well, I want to thank y'all for joining us. I want to thank everybody in the chat that's watching for joining us as well. Bump TY five time. Yo. So Brett's out tonight, obviously. So that's why I'm here hosting duties. I don't have the power to throw things up like that. So we're just gonna have to read the chat normally. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started with going over last week. Let's go over the records from last week on the leaderboard with the pick'ems. Vince, how'd you do in the pick'ems?
I think I went 8-2 again.
That's solid, Corey.
Yeah, it's like 3 weeks of 8-2.
I went 7-3.
Okay.
7-3 last week.
I went 5-5. I threw a bunch of Hail Marys last week, and they came up short. So, but you got to take them. You got to take these chances sometimes. So I took the chances, fell short. So I went 5-5. But we got to give a shout out. We had 3 people go 10-0 last week. Drew Swinney went 10-0. Philip Parker went 10-0, and Scott Poole went 10-0. So congratulations to you guys. And if you look at the overall leaderboard, it's still Jason Shivers. He's still in first place with 81 points. We got Jamar Washington right behind him, though, with 79, only 2 points behind. Then Brett and Drew are at 77, about 4 points behind. So I'm out of the running for the overall win, but we could still win this week. So we had our Beast from the East show that played this morning and had all of our picks on them. I know a highly contested game that we picked this week was Chapel Hill Kill War. That's going to be settled on Friday night. No more talking.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be settled Friday night. That's all we can do from there. But
gotta talk about.
Yeah, ain't nothing to talk about. That's right. The talk is going to be on the field.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't care what we got to say about it.
Right, buckle that chin strap. Let's go.
Well, let's go ahead and talk about last week. We got World Series Game 5 that just started. First pitch. Shout out to the Rangers. Corey, how you feel about this game?
I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to talk about that.
Rangers are a win away from their first ever World Series championship, so we're going to try and keep this a little light tonight. Christian should be joining us in a little bit as well, but let's go ahead and get started with last week's games. We'll start with the Overton Mustangs. Excuse me. Let me put some respect on their name. The undefeated Overton Mustangs, 9-0. They took on the Price Carlisle Indians, and they defeated Price Carlisle 38-14. So Overton 9-0 on the season, 4-0 in district play. We talked about it this morning. They're going to set up between Overton and Tenaha for a district championship this Friday night. C-Rad says, let's go, talking about the Rangers. But anyway, Vince, Overton and Carlisle, what'd you think about that game? And I'm assuming you had Overton.
Expected, absolutely. Carlisle, they just in a bad period right now. Like I said, I think I said this on the show before. They graduated some talent that they got to replace. So this is just a down year for them. I didn't really expect for them to get up and to be able to beat Overton. So my thoughts is it was expected.
Corey, what you got?
Overton all the way. I was looking forward to this matchup between Overton and Tenaha. So, I was like, Overton can't let me down. So I'm going with the O. Oh, baby.
Overton looks good, man. They got some studs on their team. We talked about it this morning. Bryce Steele, Jaden Edwards, Isaiah Hawkins. They got some studs. That Overton Tenaha game is going to be a good one. But congratulations to Overton. And I mentioned it this morning as well. But Overton 9 wins this season. They've had 5 wins in the past 5 seasons combined. 2 0-10 stints in there. So the turnaround, first-year head coach Scotty Lamance from Union Grove. He came over there, and now he's got the Overton Mustangs on the brink of an undefeated regular season and district championship, so shout out to them. The second game on our pick'ems was the ARP Tigers taking on the Edgewood Bulldogs, and in our pick'ems, this was 82-0. All 82 people that picked this week picked ARP, and everybody was right. ARP got the best of Edgewood, 42-24. ARP wraps up their regular season with a 7-3 record, and they finished 7-4 in 2021. Last year had a 3-7 year, but ARP's able to get the win over Edgewood. They're sitting at third in a 3 seed right now. That's pretty much where they're going to be locked in unless some craziness happens. But what about these ARP Tigers, Vince? How you feel about them?
Man, ARP been balling all year. That's just the truth. Edgewood, I don't think Edgewood had a lot of talent last year. They also graduated some. They still had some competitors on this team, but I don't think they know who they are yet. So ARP just came in and did what they've been doing all year. It's just rolling on people. So
let me address Eddie here in the chat. He asked, where is Brett? Brett is taking the night off, has some family time he's going to do. And why are we starting so early? Because we got
old. Stuff to do.
We're all old. We're not trying to be up to 10:30.
All of that man business like that.
Yeah.
Corey, what you think about ARP and Edgewood?
Oh, shout out to Smig Dog. ARP is rolling. They were a dark horse. I remember them doing. I remember the Texas Football Day, Campbell Texas Football. They had them listed as a dark horse this year. And they absolutely were a dark horse. They came out firing on all cylinders. So shout out to Smig Dog and his team rolling, baby.
Yeah, I think ARP had that close game with Troop where it could have went either way. A late touchdown gave Troop the win, or we could be talking about this ARP team being the second best team in this district. So big shout out to ARP. They're doing well. I'm with you too, Corey. I think Edgewood, they're young. They got some growing up to do. and I think they'll get that way. I trust Coach G over there, Coach Guerra over in Edgewood. But big win for the Art Tigers. Congratulations to them. Moving on to our third pick'em game, the Brownsboro Bears hosted the Rusk Eagles. This was the first one I got wrong. I picked Brownsboro, and 42 other people picked Brownsboro along with me. So I wasn't the only one, but I got to shoot a little bit of this game after that Chapel Hill Athens game on Saturday, and Brownsboro, had 4 turnovers in the first half, and Rusk was up 28-0 at halftime. So ended up winning 48-20 in that one, and a big win for the Rusk Eagles. It keeps their playoff hopes alive. For Brownsboro, I guess mathematically they're still technically alive, but that loss kind of hurt them there. Brownsboro's been an up and down team this year, but you can say the same thing for Rusk. They've both been kind of up and down, not knowing really what team you're going to get week to week. But Rusk gets the win, and all they got to do win Friday night, and they're in. So what about these Rusk Eagles, Vince?
Rusk, like you said, been up and down. I actually picked Rusk in this game. Brownsboro, they started out hot, and then they ran into Van, and since Van, I think they've been trying to figure it out, and so I just didn't know if I could trust that versus Rusk. And honestly, the thing is, Rusk, they were trying to figure themselves out too. Both these teams, they kind of feel like they're kind of the same to me. I really feel like as far as the score is concerned, the turnovers hurt them. It was probably just an off night for them. If those two teams were to play again, I think there'd probably be a different result. I almost feel like they're kind of the same in a way, as far as how they play and everything. So, but shout out to Russ. They came out and did what they had to do. Obviously, when people are handing you the ball, you do what you do with it. You know, you do what you got to do with that. So, Russ did what they had to do. Absolutely.
Well, that's my point always too. When everybody talks about, well, a team had 5 turnovers, so that's why they lost the game. True, but the offense of the other team had to take advantage of those turnovers.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
Yes, and they forced a couple of those. There was a couple of fumbles, a couple of interceptions.
And I don't want to take away from the defense, because they probably put them in that position to make those mistakes. You know, one thing about football, and I always talk about the mental aspect. I don't care how great you are. If you don't come in mentally prepared, you're gonna make mistakes like that. You know, you got to be mentally prepared before Friday night.
And I know we'll talk about it a little later when we talk about Chapel Hill Athens, but I want to just get your thoughts on, do you think it affected the teams that had to play on Saturday, like Brownsboro, Rusk, Van, and Chapel Hill and Athens? Do you think it affected them having to play on Saturday?
Yes.
My honest opinion, I don't care for Saturday games, but as a player, no. I mean, I can perform Friday night. I can perform Saturday night. If you can only perform on Friday night, something's wrong.
Yeah,
something's wrong.
When you get to college, you have to play on Saturdays.
Hey, absolutely. There is no excuse. I know people think of. I know what people want to say. They want to talk about the rhythm. They talk about the rhythm, right? So, you know, when you're in a rhythm of playing every Friday night and you get up for that game on Friday night, I get that part. But again, as an athlete, you're not a normal person anymore. You don't work off of rhythms. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I would agree with that, and I would say it makes it tougher for those 4 teams because they showed up to the field Friday night ready to play.
That's the only thing, is that they showed up. Now, I'll say this. If maybe you played half that game, you know, and then now you got to stop, and then you go play it again the next day, that's different. But from what I understood, they didn't even play the game at all.
No.
They never even started. So they got on the bus and drove to Athens, 35 minutes to Athens, and then waited for an hour, and then drove 35 minutes back home.
But that's my point. Like, if it was called off earlier in the day and you didn't even make that trip, then the excuse of playing on Saturday wouldn't be an excuse to me because you were off.
And that's the thing. That's the thing I'm talking about too. Is like you drove 35 minutes. It's like driving to work. And then, hey, we ain't gonna run today. Yeah, we ain't gonna run today, but we want y'all to show up tomorrow. You gonna show up lazy? Well, I wasn't prepared for this.
It's the anticipation of getting ready to do what you're supposed to do, and then now you can't recreate that anticipation again. That is momentum. It does affect you, whether you like it or not.
But that ain't what. But listen. If you, I get what you're saying, so you telling me that because of my anticipation, now I can't perform at all on Saturday?
I'm not saying you can't perform. I'm not saying you can't perform. I'm saying that it does weigh on you a little bit. If you're not prepared, and then that's the other thing too. Hold on, let me get. Okay, go ahead. I'm hit with this. So if you stretch all day from 8 o'clock and to get ready to play for a game at 7:30, and said, "Well, you know what, Vince, you got to play tomorrow at noon." Wouldn't that throw you off a little bit? You stretched all day Friday.
Listen,
and then all of a
Corey,
sudden you got to go home,
hold on,
and do it again.
No,
you're not gonna be prepared.
Listen, I'm not throwing. Hold on, can I say something real quick? I'm not throwing picks and fumbling because of that. I'm throwing picks and fumbling. So that's what I'm getting at. Your performance has nothing to do with what day you do it. Whatever day you do it is what day you do it. And again, if it's that much of a problem, for you to play on Saturday, then you can't go to the next level. That's just the truth.
This is what I'm saying. I'm not saying they can't perform at all. I'm saying that they're slow. It impedes some progress. That's all I'm saying.
That's all I'm saying. That's all. So how long does it take for you to get? But how long does it take for you to get? Hold on, but I'm asking you a question. How long does it take for you to get that back?
If they play Saturday night, it may be a different story.
How long do you take to get it back? That's what I'm asking. How long does it take?
I don't know. I'm not the coach. I don't know that team like that. The coach should know that team.
This is just any team. I'm not talking about just any. I'm not talking about it. We're talking about, because this is something that goes on a lot, right? We talk about this a lot every time there's a Saturday game. Oh, a team loses on a Saturday and it's like, oh, well, they should have played on Friday. Nah. To me, and you know what's crazy too?
I don't want to. That's dumb. I don't like that. They should play. If you know on Monday you play on Saturday, you're prepared for Saturday. Not if. And then
I'll say this too, Friday. I'm gonna stop giving people the benefit of a doubt. Well, at this level anyway, I feel like I'm gonna stop giving the benefit of a doubt to home and away. Because at this level, home and away don't matter. It don't matter. I'm going there. It don't matter. Like if you really about your business, hold on. Cause Bussy, it don't matter home or away. He know what he got to do. He know what he does, and he does it well. So at the end of the day, it don't matter whether he home or away. He gonna ball, right?
It's him. You still gotta count for.
Everybody should be like that though. Everybody should be like that. Everybody not. Why are you not like that though? So when you show up, all right, KO, you come from Lindale, right? Yep. You come from Lindale. All right, cool. So you mean to tell me when you playing at home, you feel better than when you have to travel over to Chapel Hill, about 40-minute drive? And then go play on their field. For some reason, their field just feel a little different to you.
It's not the field. It's the travel. Like when you're at home, you drive 5.
But we talking about 40 minutes.
I get what you're saying, but I'm still traveling to an opposing place. And if they have a good student section, if they have a good crowd, then it can be a hostile environment.
If you tell me, okay, we about to travel 2.5 hours, I can see that.
And I've done that. We had to go to T-High.
Yeah, I can see that bothering you. And to me, that ain't home or away problem. That's jet lag, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Like that's you done set too long. You know. All right. But I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hold you up. Let's go, man. Let's
Christian,
go.
welcome to the chat, man. How you doing?
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we hear you fine.
Can you see the chat?
Yeah, I can hear y'all.
First off,
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can see. Okay, first off, listen, are y'all talking about the Chapel game still?
No.
Nah. We just talking football in general.
I just talk about Brownsboro and Rusk.
That's what we were really on at the time. Yeah.
The question was, does a Saturday game affect a team differently than playing on a Friday night? That was the original question.
Yes, because especially if you don't.
Christian.
Oh, wait, just in general? Just in general. Wait,
no, we're not talking about a game in specific, just in general, in football.
That's what I'm asking. In general.
Yeah. In general.
If you have to play on a Saturday, even if you're not scheduled on a Saturday, but you have to play because, game got delayed or anything like that? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I'm referring to.
There's
that
no
can affect
excuse.
you.
I'm just
There's
talking.
no excuse. There's no excuse.
That can affect you. That can affect you.
Bro, I didn't do any.
It can. Listen, here's the thing. It can affect you. It can. But you have to stay. It's kind of like for me, like, I think for everybody, it has to be a weekly thing for you. It doesn't matter what day that you play, you still.
That's what I'm saying. You still have to do it. You have to. Thank you. Locked in. I love that.
I thought Vince was being, chaotic as normal. But
I am chaotic. I am chaotic because the truth is chaotic. The truth hurt everybody.
Hold on. That's what I'm saying.
And I speak the truth fluently.
Both statements are correct. Both statements are correct, whether you agree with me or not. Both statements are correct. Can you play? Can it hinder you? Yes. Are you supposed to be focused? Yes. They're both correct. It's never utilize you for not being ready. I mean,
you gotta be ready. You gotta be ready, man.
Okay, how about
You're
this?
not gonna be
this?
Okay.
I'll give y'all an example. All right, I'll give y'all two. All right. Chapel Hill last year. You remember they were supposed to play at 7:30 against Palestine at home. All right, the lights were out at the school and at the stadium. So what they had to do was they had to move the game to 3 o'clock, right? Okay. We struggled a little bit coming out. We were down 21-7 at halftime. We came out and we absolutely obliterated Palestine in the second half. Okay, so yeah, it does kind of affect you a little bit because you know what we did? You know what we did when we got in there? We ate ham and cheese sandwiches and then we went to sleep. That's what we did. We were finna go. We were finna go.
Energy drained right there. Energy drained.
Yeah.
Energy drained. I can't play now because I done fell asleep.
we were.
Can I give you an example? Can I give you an example of something that I think is more of what I think Corey is talking about and KO's talking about? You go back, I can't think how many years it was, but the Ravens had a Super Bowl game, and halfway through the game, the power went out. They was rolling, or actually, it was San Francisco that was rolling.
Yeah,
they was rolling.
It was 20. Yeah, it was 28-6.
Power went out. They had to go sit for a whole hour, and in that hour, what happens is that adrenaline that you built up, that motivate, that anticipation, that all anticipation, whatever you want to call it, all of that you built up, all the adrenaline and you done cooled off. The body done cooled off at this point. You done sat there for an hour, and some of them probably done ate and drunk, and now they full. So when they start the game back up and say y'all got to finish this tonight, that's different because you went from being ready to go warm, and me being I just turned 40 yesterday, so. Right. I understand. Appreciate it. I understand when it's go time, it's go time. But when I stop, now I can't just get back up and go no more. Right? You got to warm up. So that's different. That's different because you asking me to play now, stop playing for an hour, and then come back to it. That's a little different because that is what you're talking about. That anticipation. Your body ain't even built for that, right? It's like imagine having to go work out for an hour and then stop for an hour and then go back to work out again. Most people can't do that unless you condition for that. You
16, 17 years old, your bones are squeaking.
We ain't talking about that. We're talking about what Christian talking about. I never even played the game. I sat there, I dressed out, and we sat there and watched it rain. And then we ate. And then coach said, get back on the bus. We're going home. We'll see y'all tomorrow. I'm ready to go.
All right. We're moving on.
I'm sorry, man.
No, you're good.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The two games we've talked about already are Overton and Carlisle. You got any thoughts on the Overton Mustangs remaining undefeated, 9-0?
Oh, I mean, listen. I think I was shocked.
I'm reading these comments over here. Sorry, guys. He said, I'm a man. I'm 40.
Mike Gundy. I mean, listen, like I said, it's been probably the biggest story in East Texas, all year. It's not a shocker to me. They did handle Carlisle the way they were supposed to, and I mean it's no shocker. So um, I'm just ready to see what Overton does this Friday. Um, but no, it wasn't a shocker to me.
Well, what about the ARP and Edgewood game? We had all 82 people that picked in the pick'ems this week. Every single one of them picked the ARP Tigers. Not a single vote went to Edgewood, and ARP handled business. So you got any thoughts on that one?
I ain't shocked about that one either. I mean,
And then the one that we were talking about before we got derailed, we were talking about Brownsboro and Rusk, and how we were talking about how Brownsboro had 4 turnovers in the first half against Rusk. Rusk was up 28-0 at halftime. They ended up winning 48-20. You got any thoughts on that one?
well, I mean, the really the question was, and I was going to touch on that when we got on here. The real question is did Rusk win that game or did Brownsboro lose it? I think Rusk won it. Yeah, I think
that's
Rusk
partly what
won.
we were talking about. Is
Yeah.
that you can't fault a team for, even though they had 4 turnovers, Russ still had to do something with those 4 turnovers. So
They didn't get
Yeah.
my take.
So
But it's all right. It's
I
cool.
mean,
Russ dominated.
we didn't get to you yet, Corey. We're coming around. We going around
yeah.
the
So
square.
Rusk. So here's the thing, Rusk. I mean, listen. Obviously, I think they're a playoff team. Now, will they're gonna beat Ken this Friday? I'm not, like I said, with the Ken game, I kind of already knew that was gonna happen because, I mean, you can't lose. Sorry, with the Brownsboro game, I'm like you can't lose to Ken. You can't lose to them. That's kind of that's kind of an indictment against Brownsboro because the fact that they gave up that game right there, and then you expect yourself to beat Rusk, which wasn't going to happen. And Russ handled them pretty good actually. I think Thomas Sidden has done a great job. If they get past the first and second round, it's gonna be a miracle because
I think they got PG first round, so
yeah, they're
maybe a short playoff run. Corey, what did you think about the game?
I love the fact that everybody picked. I don't know who picked Brownsboro in that game at all, but Brownsboro wasn't going to win that football. Brownsboro's not going to win that football game. They haven't been consistent all year.
It's me.
In the games that they've won, they barely won the football game. So I wasn't going to pick them over anybody else at this point. They're fake bullies. And I don't mean to say that.
Corey,
But
man,
they're fake bullies,
what
man.
is wrong with you tonight? I thought it was me. No, it's you, bro. It's you. It is you.
Look at who they played.
It ain't me. It's
They
you.
beat anybody.
Listen, I got hyped with them in the locker room before the Van game, so I like Brownsboro. I'm fans with Brownsboro, but yeah, they struggled Saturday. But anyway, moving on.
Go ahead.
Let's go to Game 4. We had the Longview Lobos and the John Tyler Lions. Yep, that's right, John Tyler Lions. Longview beat JT 34-12. It's kind of what I expected. I expected Longview to get the dub. I wasn't able to see any of the game, so I'm going to rely on y'all. We talked about last week. We just wanted to see Tyler High, how they performed in the game. Would they compete with Longview? I didn't see the game, so I can't speak on it. Did they compete with Longview?
So I felt like they did 2 quarters. And it's crazy because again, it was the exact same thing as the year before. They were competing in the first half, and then when the gates opened up, it flooded. So Tyler High, they got number one, they got a young quarterback. So he's gonna get better. He's gonna progress. He's gonna get better. But he was in a position where the play was breaking down, and you could tell he just did not. He couldn't really function the way he wanted to in the backfield with the play breaking down. I was watching it on TV. I'm screaming at the TV, get out of the pocket, get out of the pocket. Like just run, just go. But defensively, John Tyler had did all they could to hold on as long as they could, in that first half. Because they had Longview on the ropes. I know if Spence was on the show, he'd probably tell you a different story. But that's the truth. That defense had Longview on the ropes. And the offense just, they moved at first, but then they started, it started backpedaling, and they got 3 on that first drive, and then they struggled to get anything after that. One thing I will say, though, is they are really good at picking up on other people's mistakes, finishing on other people's mistakes. Longview had they were kicking a field goal or extra point or whatever, and I don't know if it got blocked or if he just I can't remember what happened, if he muffed it or what. But anyway, he lost the ball, and Tyler High picked that thing up and just jetted to the end zone, and they've been doing little things like that all year long. Tyler High is going to grow. They're going to get better. They've proven that they have an ability to compete with teams like this. They just need the playmakers to finish the job, pretty much.
I'm gonna say this.
Christian, Corey, go ahead, Corey.
I don't know if Christian watched it. I definitely watched it, so I want to piggyback off of what he said.
I was mad.
I just, to me, there's 2 things. Number one, that quarterback's not that good. I know they're winning football games. Y'all know Vince is being nice. He's probably a good kid. He can't.
He's a sophomore, though. He's a sophomore.
I know he's a sophomore, but that ain't gonna work. If he's 6'1" or 6'2",
it ain't working. Listen.
He can't. I don't know. Hear me out. I'm just, because you got to be nice.
I'm just saying I'm not being nice. I'm just saying he's gonna get better. If he remains the quarterback,
I hope he gets
better. He has room to grow.
I do hope he gets better. He ain't the right one at this point. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay.
He's not the right one at this point. I'm just.
I have nothing against it. Like if that's
if he gets better, that's something totally different. Because I think that was their weak point when Longview came after the blitz and said we're gonna fire away at it. He lost control. There was nothing he could do at this point. He was scrambling. He couldn't find a hole. There was a hole here. He stepped back.
But is that his problem? Oh, but is that all? Is that okay? All right. Offensive line need work too. Offensive line need work.
But at the same time, if there's a lane there, don't back up into the.
No, I agree. Yeah, but again, sophomore tendencies. He don't understand yet. Get it when the play break down. Evacuate. He don't understand that yet. It's all right though.
Okay.
He'll get there.
You can muck it up. I'm just saying. I'm not saying the whole game is on him. I'm just saying he wasn't the playmaker. That would have broke Longview's back if he was able to scramble and make plays. That would have really made the game.
If I could add one thing to it that I questioned was putting McCall at tailback. I felt like, and it got him a touchdown, but you already got 2 other backs that are pretty good. I would have kept him I had him at receiver on the other side of Martin, and try to at least push back that blitz, that blitz that Longview was.
How are you gonna get him the ball? How are you gonna get him the ball?
Well, now you got to tell your offensive line to man up, beat the man in front of you.
You got to get your offensive. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna let Christian have it. The play that I think broke the camel's back was the onside kick. Offensive player sitting there looking at the ball, and the ball bounces like 5 yards from. I was like, "What are you doing?" It wasn't even an onside kick. The ball just fell in space. I'm like, hey, game's over after that. I turned it off. I was like, I'm not watching anymore. If the game was like 12-5 or something like that, it wasn't even. The game was out of reach. But it was a decent. It was a good enough play where he could have picked it up and got possession. You gave them the ball back with extra field position.
You did, like, mental thing, doing? Man. Mental.
So I was like, that was at that point.
That's correctable. That's correctable. They can correct that.
Yeah.
Okay. Listen.
Come on,
first
Christian.
off, on the way back, because we got rained out in Athens. Me and Keith Whitman, we were gonna commentate that game. But I was watching the Tyler High game on the way back because I thought that Duncanville and Duncanville and DeSoto were on, but they got delayed too. Listen, I don't know how else to put this. Tyler High gave the game away. I'm just gonna be honest. They gave the game away. I mean, you literally they did a good job on Taylor Tatum for a little bit. I think we can all agree to that. They did a good job on that low ball offense for a little bit, but you gave that game away. That wasn't. I don't even. I said that they would lose, and I changed my pick on Thursday because I mean some of us, we used to root for Tyler High, aka John Tyler, whatever. You know, we were all born and raised like that. But they gave that game away, especially especially on offense. I think Caden Granberry is a good quarterback. I just think for one, he's not. I mean, he's only 5'5", 5'6". But I think he can't see over a really massive offensive line. He can't see over that. And if somebody's wide open, I mean, he's going to overthrow him. It's really, in all fairness, I don't want to say it's his fault, but it kind of is his fault a little bit. It kind of, not all the way. I'm not going to put all the blame on him because they just absolutely sent a full out assault on Caden Granberry and that Tyler High offense. So I think they gave the game away. It's going to be really tough for them this week because now they got to play a team who is arguably I don't know about offensively, but defensively they probably have the best defense in that district. So
yeah,
I don't.
Yeah.
They gave the game away. They gave it away.
Playoff or bust. Playoff or bust.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to Game 5. This is what Aaron Franks wanted us to talk about. He said, let's talk about how Carthage handled Van since y'all was trapping out the Van dough. He's still trapping out the Van dough. But yeah, Carthage took care of business against Van, won 35-7. This game was 14-7 at halftime. Van battled early on. Carthage is just Carthage. And we talked about this last week. Yes, I picked Van, but I knew in my heart of hearts Carthage was probably going to get the dub. And I'm not a Carthage hater either. I love what Carthage is doing.
Yeah.
Love Coach Surratt over there. Coach Surratt is the brother of Lindale Superintendent Stan Surratt, so I know the Surratt family quite well.
Okay.
Anyway, I appreciate what Carthage is doing. Another 10-0 undefeated regular season. Just amazing what Carthage has going on over there. I think for Van, though, being able to battle with Carthage, at least for a half, I understand, but it really showed in that second half. Carthage was able to make adjustments where it seems like Van didn't. I'm not saying that that Van did not make adjustments, but on paper, that's what it seems like. I wasn't able to watch the game, but that's what it looked like, is that Carthage made some adjustments at halftime and was able to overtake Van. Van's still got a really good football team. They should still be the 2 seed out of this district. So I think there is a possibility these two teams could meet in the playoffs. I think Van has a very good team that could make a run, but Carthage is Carthage. I think we'll see Carthage in Carthage Pleasant Grove down the road should be a good one if that happens. So we'll have to see what happens there. But anyway, shout out to the Vandals. I rocked with them and we came up short. But like I said last week, and I know Corey can attest to events as well, we said we would go for them and we'd show up if they lost. By gosh, we're all here.
Yeah,
so
we're here.
Congratulations.
And now you got to deal with me.
Yeah.
That's all right. Well, you know what, Christian? Go ahead, Vince. Since you're going to be the opponent, because me, Vince, and Corey all took Van, and there was only 4 of us that picked Van, and 3 of them are in this chat. So go ahead, Christian.
I told you. It's Carthage. I literally said that they would probably only get upset by one team this year, and I know I've said that like 2 teams. I've said it 1,000 times all year long, and I know it hasn't clicked in y'all's brains that Center and Van were they're good, but they weren't that good to beat Carthage. Now, obviously, Van has good defense. We can all acknowledge that they have a good defense, but like Kyle said, Carthage made adjustments where Van didn't. And you look at it, I mean, we looked what happened. I think Jet Surratt had like 18, 19 completions, maybe, at most. I know he threw for over 250 yards and 3 touchdowns. So, I mean, it wasn't, it doesn't shock me because it's Carthage. They're about to be in the playoffs. I don't know how many times this has been since they've been in the how many times they've been to the playoffs. Like, because I know it's probably record breaking, most likely. Um, I just, like we said, I only see them getting upset by one team this year or two. That's PG and Pleasant Grove and Glen Rose. Um, Glen Rose is the team that gave them more of a fight last year. That was in the semifinal. If their running back doesn't cough up the ball, he has a wide open gap to go score. Glen Rose probably goes to the state championship, and we see the same result as what happened with Carthage in the state championship game. But like I said, this doesn't surprise me. I mean, y'all weren't the only ones. I had a couple of friends who were saying, "Oh, Van is the better team," and blah blah blah, and whatever. How about that?
And we never said Van was the better team.
No. Some of my friends said they were the better team. Y'all didn't say that.
Yeah.
Real quick though, talk about the defense that Christian brought up. So Carthage has only scored less than 35 points twice this season. Once against San Antonio Cornerstone, but they shut them out, and then Kilgore early on where they only scored 30. So out of the 10 games, Van held them to the third lowest point total of the season. I would take that as if I'm Van, I look at that as that's our victory in that game. We held Carthage to the third fewest points they've scored all season. Count that as a dub, and let's keep going.
I'm gonna say this before Vince gets started, because I know Vince got a lot. There's two things you can do. There's two things you do. There's one you don't do. You never play not to lose. Okay? There's a big difference between playing not to lose and playing to win. Big difference. That's all I'm gonna say.
Go ahead, Vince.
All right. First of all, Christian, did you watch the game?
I watched some of it.
You watched some. Did you see the beginning of the game?
I didn't. Okay. I heard Van was giving it to him a little bit.
They was on him. They wasn't giving it to him. They was on him. So here's my take. First of all, Surratt needs to be coaching at the next level. I don't know why he playing around with high school ball, because this is ridiculous. Like he literally took probably, as far as what I've seen, he took probably the biggest whooping he could take in the first half. He took the biggest lick he probably took all year in that first half against Van. And he came out in the second half with a game plan that looked nothing like the first half. Absolutely nothing. And to be honest with you, at the first, C-Rad said 14-7. I'm not gonna give him that. I'm not giving him that extra touchdown because Van gave it to him. Van gave him that. That should have been 7-7. Van, I'm trying not to say nothing crazy, but get out of the damn zone, bro. You literally are killing yourself. You shot yourself in the foot, man. I'm sitting there screaming at the TV. Corey, I was on the phone with Corey, and I was trying to write on the show. And listen, I ain't nobody's coach. I ain't nobody, but I see it, And maybe since they're on the field, they don't see it. I don't know. But Surratt was doing what anybody with a brain would know to do in this situation when they up front is giving you pressure. They're not coming across the line as much as they want to, but they ain't letting you get what you want on the ground either. And then they're in a zone, and it's trying to confuse the quarterback. But here's the thing about it. First of all, your zone is too far back. It's too far deep. So what did Surratt say? He said, take whatever they're going to give you. So what did they do? They kept throwing 5-yard routes and taking it 10 yards. You know how many times they were on third down and got out of it just because Van is in zone and they 10 and 15 yards off the ball? Like, it's like, what are you doing? Like, they had them dead to right so many times, and that zone, and it was the same. It almost felt like it was the same play. It ain't the same play. It's the same route. Literally, 5-yard route, dumping it to him, and he's taking it.
I mean, literally, they were playing 5 to 7 yards off the ball almost every single.
Yeah, and it's like, bro, and then you know what's crazy? You know what's crazy? At one point, they had him on the drive where they scored that 14 right before the half. They finally switched to man, and when they switched to man, the quarterback snapped the ball. He stood there because he didn't know who to throw to. He had no idea who to throw to. He looked for his one receiver, cover. He looked up. You see his helmet move to the left side. He looked. He covered. He didn't know what to do. And I was like, that's what you got to do. You got to disguise it. You got to mix it up a little bit. But you just stand in that zone and you stand 10 and 15 yards off the ball. You gave them that touchdown in the first half. That's my first half spiel. Get out of zone. Get out of that zone. Your defensive line was doing their job.
Have you seen even when teams play zone? Have you seen this Carthage offense take the top off people's defense?
But see, the weird thing was they couldn't do that. They couldn't do that with them. They tried it, but they couldn't do it. But right. So again, because they don't have that much time, because that defensive line was the deep man. Shout out to Van D line because they did their job. That's for real. They did their job. That D line did their job. They put pressure. They applied pressure all night. And so, again, but they just dumping 5-yard routes just to get the first down. There was never a time in the first half where they just drove on Van. They just had to take a little bit at a time, which is smart, because, some teams are impatient. When you do teams like that and slow them up, they freak out. But Carthage was just like, no, we're just going to take that little bit. 3rd and 10, we're going to take that little bit, And
I appreciate it.
Yeah, just giving them 5 yards, right? But the show to the talent, you dump off to a 5-yard route and he turns it into a first down. You see, because you're too far off the ball. You're too far off him. Second half.
And you're forced to make open field.
Yeah, exactly. KO get it. So
it's not to the effect.
So second half. Can I touch on the second half real quick?
Defense to make a play.
Second half.
Let Vince.
This is real quick. Second half. They came out a different team. You did not. That you gotta as the coach, you gotta say, okay, that's on me. Because you came out and tried to play the same game. But Carthage realized who they were dealing with at that point. And they changed up everything. I don't want to say they changed up everything, but when they came out on that first drive, you could tell they started moving people in motion and stuff. Started confusing the defense. They went right down the field and scored instantly. Like they ain't done that the whole game. And in the first drive, they did it. And then on defense, they changed up some things with the defense and then shut them off immediately, bro. Immediately. And you can't come out here doing the same thing. And that's when I was like, I saw the beauty in what Surratt was doing. And I said, wait a minute, bro. Listen, somebody in Texas needs to call this dude because you at the wrong level, bro. You can't be doing this at high school level. That's a cheat code. Like, you can't do that, man. You can't do that to them kids.
Vince, I'm gonna tell you this. That's masterful. But that's how you know you've been coached. You're seasoned.
Yeah.
I was always told you never change. If you see an adjustment, you wait till the second half.
Bro.
Never. If you see it right now, a lot of young rookies, they're gonna go out there. Oh, I see we should change this. If you do that, and that's the only thing that you have to do, and they stop it, you have nothing else in the second half to adjust to.
Yeah.
They've countered everything. Man,
listen.
So,
now
you gotta wait till the second half.
Corey heard me because I was on the phone with Corey, but I was sitting there watching that game sweating. I was hot. I was on 10. I was like, bro, let me get out there. Let me get somebody. I'm about to drive out there right now. I said, y'all not gonna lose this game like this.
Listen, I do appreciate Aaron Franks in the chat because he was talking up Carthage last week. He came back and he's been a good sport about it. So
I know Aaron, he's not. I appreciate you.
But that's my spiel. Go ahead. Let's move. We can move on.
All right, moving on to game number 6. An upset in my eyes, not in Corey's eyes though, because Corey's Pine Tree Pirates knocked off the Mount Pleasant Tigers by a score of 41-14.
They knocked them down.
So Corey, we'll start with you. Here's my thoughts on it.
You're kidding.
I don't know what Pine Tree is. I don't know what Mount Pleasant is.
KO. It's okay because Pine Tree don't know what they are either. They don't know either. It's all right. They don't know. They don't know how it happens. They don't know. It just sometimes the magic work.
So what happened with your Pirates, Corey?
I picked Mount Pleasant. I'm gonna tell you something. I was mad. I was like, you know what? Pine Tree ain't gonna win this football game. They've been playing all year. I don't know what Pine Tree team's gonna show up. Mount Pleasant clearly thought they were Pine Tree. They put on the wrong jerseys. They must have ran out of uniforms. They had to put on Pine Tree practice jersey or something. I don't know what happened.
It's tough.
I looked at the score. I was like, they won the 17. The team showed up. Did they not know they were trying to make the playoffs? What in mid Mount Pleasant like third?
They were. Third. They're not anymore.
They're
on the outside looking in right now.
Like isn't Pine Tree in a position to make the playoffs?
Yeah. Now it depends on what all happens this week. There's scenarios and stuff that can happen, but as of now, if it ended today, it would be a tiebreaker, and I don't know how all that works.
Now I'm saying if Pine Tree makes the playoff, Brett owes me an apology. I know Brett's probably
no, he owe Pine Tree an apology.
No.
He owes me because he's like, I don't think Pine Tree's that good. I said Pine Tree's that good, but it depends on what Pine Tree team shows up.
Here's the thing.
I have no idea.
If they make the playoffs, I owe the Pine Tree public an apology because literally, I've been criticizing these guys for 5 years. 5 years because I literally just keep saying. We don't know what they are. They always have either 4-6 or a 5-5 record all the time. Mm-hmm. I criticize these guys all the time. You know what? I'm going.
But
if they make the playoffs,
so who did Mount?
Next week, I will literally come on this show, and I will send a public apology to Pine Tree and their fans.
Let me ask you a question.
Literally do that.
Who did Mount Pleasant beat that made y'all feel like Pine Tree couldn't compete with them? Because I'm looking at it
wasn't that look. Pine Tree beat anybody significant.
Everybody that was good beat them.
Well, look, here's the thing. Mount Pleasant beat Marshall, and then Pine Tree lost to Marshall by 20 points almost.
Right.
So,
okay. All right. I see what you're saying. All right. But then I don't know what Marshall is. I feel like Marshall ain't that.
All three of those teams that are like Marshall and Pine Tree are 3-2 in district, and then Mount Pleasant's 2-3 in district.
Okay.
But they all beat each other.
Okay.
That's why, like Eddie's saying, Mount Pleasant's out. Maybe they are. I don't know that for sure though, because they all beat each other. So if Mount Pleasant beats Hallsville this week, which they should, they'll go to 3-3. Pine Tree should lose to T-High. They'll be 3-3. Marshall, if they lose to White House, they're 3-3. So now everybody's 3-3. Now it's a tiebreaker and a point spread, and it gets confusing. I don't know anything about it.
Okay, I'll just say this to sum this up. 40. What was it? What was the score? 40 what? 41-14. So to me, what that sounds like is that somebody either dropped a spirit stick or somebody sold a soul. I don't know which one it was, but it happened. And now Pine Tree is about to roll on Hallsville next. So shout out to Pine Tree for doing what they had to do. Keep it rolling.
Well, wait a minute. Well, hold on. It gets shifty now, okay? I don't know what friends they are in Texas at Texas High and Pine Tree, but Texas High could foreseeably rest their starters. They don't necessarily need to play this game to win, right?
Nope.
And then they're playing Pine Tree for the last game of the season. Pine Tree goes up there and wins that game. I'm done. I'm
telling you, like I said, Pine Tree, keep it rolling. Keep it rolling, Pine Tree.
It's not happening. But if I'm Texas, I'm not playing my starters.
I actually picked Pine Tree in this game. That was one of my good ones. I picked Pine Tree in that.
Texas, listen. I might call Texas High's head coach and be like, "Can y'all please beat Pine Tree?" Because I'm serious. I will get on this show next week and send a public apology to Pine Tree.
Hey, Christian, we finna move forward, but real quick, I want you to go ahead and write that apology down because you're gonna be needing it next week. Corey, go ahead. KL, go ahead with the next segment. What we got? Move on. Let's go. It's almost 8. Let's run this. Let's go.
And real quick for Eddie, he says no possible way for them to win. Tiebreak doesn't matter. Whatever you say, Eddie. I'm not going to get argue. All I know is if 3 teams are tied with the same record, Then it goes by first who beat who, but they all beat each other.
Eddie, if they win, you come back too. You write your apology too.
Eddie knows more about the district than I do.
He does.
So
he does. He really does.
I'm not arguing with it. So Beckville Harleton was the next game. It was a battle for a district championship, and it was not even close. Beckville took it to Harleton, 48-14, and they will wrap up the district crown for the third straight year, I believe. The Beckville Bearcats, they finish at home against Union Grove this week. That'll be a dandy. Anyway, Beckville. Look, Vince, we talked about you've been on them
all year long.
We talked about them early on, how we thought they were struggling coming out of the gate. And ever since that opening week loss to Timpson, where they got beat 50-13, they've rattled off 8 straight wins. Beckville is rolling right now. What do you think about this?
Ironically, they did the same thing last year, and that was my whole point, was that they take a loss to Timpson, and then they proceed to roll on everybody else. But this game, I didn't really expect for it to be anything other than what it was personally, because I just see Beckville is right up under Timpson. They're not able to compete with Timpson because of who Timpson has playing for them, but maybe next year after Bussy graduates, maybe that the tide changes. Maybe it turns around. I don't know, but I didn't see nothing but Beckville winning this, so I went with them. I'll let Corey have it from there.
Go ahead, Corey.
I got nothing to say. Beckville was going to win. I was waiting for this to be done, because I'm not picking Beckville. I'm not picking against Beckville at this point. They only lost 1 football game. You know what that was too. So it ain't gonna matter at this point. What did he say on Little Giants? He says it's nothing against Beckville, but it's just like, I just gotta say it because her name was Becky. On Little Giants, he's like, "Who's that? Number 56. That's my niece Becky. She's pissed."
That's Beckville. That's Becky. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
All right, Christian, what you got on this game?
It's Beckville. I'm not shocked. Let's move on.
Let's go.
Love it. All right, next game, T-High and White House. I was at this game Friday night in the Dub City, and Texas High won 45-21. I'll tell you what. I was impressed with Texas High. They have the biggest difference to me between White House and Texas High was the amount of speed on the field for Texas High. White House just couldn't keep up. White House just did not have the horses to hang with Texas High's speed. A couple of turnovers in that game kind of hurt White House as well, but Texas High was clearly the better team Friday night, and they proved why they are the top of that district. And Texas High will have a strong playoff run, I think. They have a really good team. Quarterback can throw. They got a nice run game. Offensive line blocked well. Defense played well. They even had some good returns. Special teams, just an all-around great game for the Texas High Tigers. So shout out to them.
Yeah, I had Texas High winning this game. I think I talked about it on the show last week. I said, as good as White House is, I feel like Texas High wants a little bit of payback from last year, because they only lost that game, I think, by 4 or 5 points last year, and they were on a roll up until then, I think. So I just had a feeling that it was gonna come to that. I didn't know they were gonna spank them like they did, but my God. So, but yeah, shout out to Texas High, and White House is still a dope team. They fumbled the bag on this one, but they're gonna pick it back up. So.
They're still good, but
yeah, they're
we
still
talk
good.
about in other districts. Like there's a teams that kind of separate themselves. There may be one team like Beckville, for instance, separates itself from everybody else in the district, and everybody else is kind of battling for 2
Absolutely.
down. And I think that's how this district
is. Because White House is going to continue to roll on some people too. I mean, they.
I think White House is the second best team in the district.
Absolutely, I agree with that.
But they're Texas High.
You know that for a fact.
Christian, what do you think about this T-High White House game?
I mean, I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't like what I saw from Josh Green. I don't like what I saw. I mean, barely over 100 yards. He only threw, 1 or 2 touchdowns, and he only had 6 completions. Like that was it. I actually went back and watched this whole game on Saturday. When I got back here to the house, and I didn't like what I saw. Texas High is legit, and I'm just gonna give y'all a little breaking news here. Texas High might make it to the semifinal. That's just
I thought you were gonna say
reality.
state.
No,
That's breaking. That's breaking news. It's in my finals.
no.
Okay, I get it.
Don't they
Okay.
got to go through PN?
They're not.
Don't they got to go through
They're not
PNG?
beating South Oak Cliff. They're not beating Melissa, and they're not beating Archer.
Oh, then it ain't breaking news then to me. I thought you about to say something crazy.
I said they they may make it to the semifinal. Now, the best in all reality, the best that they might make it is maybe the fourth or third round. Who knows? But they're not beating none of those teams right there. Right now, I still have South Oak Cliff repeating. But I mean, it wasn't good to see. It wasn't good to see last week. It wasn't good to see.
Okay, Corey, what you got?
Real quick, I to your Josh Green point, I was kind of confused because Jacob Carey had the big game last week against Mount Pleasant, and then coming out to start the game, I see Josh Green out there, and I was kind of thrown off. I was like, why? But Carey did come in towards the end of the game when it was kind of out of hand. But that was surprising to me too. I'm not sure why. What's up, CM? What you think about this game?
I thought Texas was going to dominate the game. White House is the better, most. So the district is full of inconsistent teams, right? White House is the least of the inconsistents, the least inconsistent of the other teams, right? That's why they're second place. I saw White House play good. I saw White House play bad, and they won the games. Luckily, they won those games that they didn't play very well at home. So White House obviously is the second best, second place team in the district. That district is fun, man. I don't know. I don't know if you guys watched the MEAC conference or the MAC conference on Tuesdays football with Akron and
Action
Chattanooga.
Wednesdays.
I'm like, that conference is crazy. Like, that is one of the wackiest conferences you'll ever see in college football. But that Ohio Valley conference,
week in and week out.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It got Toledo was balling. It is crazy. That's how this district seems like to me. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, nobody's at the game. It's freezing cold. Nobody's at the game. But for some reason, they're playing for something. And you have no idea. And one team is going to play. They're probably going to go to the Frisco Bowl in Texas. And it doesn't really matter at this point. But I don't know what team is going to – I don't know what White House team is going to show up. Texas High is the best team in this district. So, shout out to them, man.
And I got to give a shout out to Coach Kyle Westerberg over at White House because since Texas High is not a KLTV team, Eddie, before you come at me, I understand it. We're covering them in this, but it's not a KLTV team because they have their own up there. Anyway, we had agreed with Coach Westerberg. He agreed, actually, that after the game, win or lose, he would do a post-game interview. So even getting beat 45-21, he still awarded me the interview and was still a first-class act. So shout out to Coach Kyle Westerberg at White House for being that way. Not every coach would do that. So shout out to him. Moving on, Game 9, Hooks at DeKalb, or versus DeKalb, I'm sorry. Hooks took it to him. This was supposed to be a battle for a district championship, and it was another blowout, kind of like the Beckville-Harleton one. Hooks won 46-12. Hooks is undefeated, depending on who you ask. If you ask Winsboro fans, they are not undefeated. If you ask Hooks fans, they are undefeated. If you ask Dave Campbell's Texas Football, the Winsboro Hooks game never happened. So anyway, whatever. Hooks is still a very, very good football team. They wrap up the regular season on the road at New Boston this week. I expect them to handle that one and finish the season undefeated. I'm not surprised by this outcome, Vince. Are you?
No, not at all. And just to your point, Max Prep has Hooks at 9-0. So they, like you said, they're undefeated either way. They are undefeated.
They're undefeated either way.
Yeah.
Yes, Eddie. I know we say they're undefeated. Yeah. I'm just the amount of wins. Does the Winsboro game count or not?
Okay.
So.
Oh, okay. I got you. Well, to me, I kind of felt like Hooks was gonna win this. Hooks is a really good team, man. Like it's hard not to pick Hooks, even though I know DeKalb is a good team too. Like, I know more about Hooks than I know about DeKalb, and it was easy for me to just roll with Hooks in this. So,
Christian, you got anything on this Hooks DeKalb game?
Well, I mean, DeKalb, here's the problem with them. I mean, they really don't have a good secondary. I'm just going to be honest with you. They really don't have a good secondary. So, I mean, Hooks, that was, I'm just to be honest with you, that was bound to happen. at some point in the game. I'm not saying that it wasn't going to be close, but at some point in the game that was bound to happen. So it's not a shocker to me.
Corey, you got anything?
I was just waiting to play their best football until now, and I'm just looking at the district, the standings, and what they've done in the district. This is the most points they've given up since Hawkins. So that's 12 points, man. So Hooks is playing some good football. I will say this though, they got some. I don't know what's going on in Hooks, but their basketball team is also ranked like number 9 in the state, or I think they're ranked higher than that, as a matter of fact. So I'm about to. Hey, I don't know what's going on out there. The Hooks, man. Did they make to like the regional tournament last year? Didn't it?
In basketball, yeah, because they played Mineola in Prosper.
So man, shout out to Hooks though, man. They balling in both sports. That's hard to do. That's hard to do, man.
Moving on to the final game of last week, we had an upset, according to most. If you go by the picks, 69 people picked Jefferson to win, and 69 people were wrong. Tatum knocked off the Jefferson Bulldogs 38-21. And just by going back and look at their schedule, guys, I feel like I haven't been given enough respect to Tatum. Their 3 losses, they lost to Center, where they scored 63 and still lost because they gave up 80. Then they lost to Dangerfield, and then they have a 30-point loss to Lumberton, who is leading the district that Chapel Hill will play in the first round. So that's a 4A school that Tatum lost to like that by that. Center, also a 4A school. Dangerfield, a very good 3A. So Tatum's 3 losses are to 3 very good teams. So just me personally, I don't think I've been giving Tatum enough respect. They've been rolling, really. They beat West Rusk by 24. They beat Gladewater by 20. Blew out White Oak, blew out Sabine, and then now a 17-point win over Jefferson. Vince, should we be paying more attention to the Tatum Eagles?
Every year, man. Every year I have to deal with this Tatum team. They're getting on my last nerve, bro. Every time, man, like, you think I learned by now, but I keep getting burned every time. I was one of the 69. If you're wondering, I'm one of the 69.
Me too.
So,
I told you.
Yeah, I'm just gonna have to take this one. I'm gonna take this one on the chin, as Corey would say. And Jefferson, I needed y'all to win this one. I needed to prove something, but y'all didn't get it done for me. That hurts. I still believe in y'all though. Better luck next week or this week. So,
Christian, what you got on this Tatum Jefferson game?
Oh man, listen, Vince, I understand. I'm with you, man. It's hard. I mean, I really don't have much to say on it. I mean, Tatum was a better team.
Yeah.
Right,
hey,
Corey.
Real quick,
Go ahead.
I just wanted to say to everybody writing in, I know we said it at the beginning, but we don't have a way of putting up your chats right now, so we just reading them. Tatum, C-Rad said Tatum is impressive. Yeah, they I guess. It's hard for me to swallow that pill, but but KO is right. They put up some good wins. Now, obviously, I ain't paid attention to them since they gave up 80 points. I really had not even looked their way since then. That's on me. But if you give up 80, why you gotta give me a reason to look over at you again.
But now that we know, I know about that Center team.
And we know more about Center. You right. So okay, I'm sorry.
It's still for Tatum. But Corey, you got anything on this game?
Oh, definitely. Y'all gonna put some respect on Tatum's name. I never doubt Tatum. And this is to allude to what Brett always talks about. I always give my hard time about the scheduling. They will always play tough preseason games, no matter what. I don't care if they're 2A, they'll play a 5A. They'll play anybody. They have a plethora of good athletes, kind of like Dangerfield. They have a plethora of good athletes every single year. They're going to come out to compete. At the end of the year, they're going to always compete for a district championship, no matter what, unless it's just something going on in Tatum that we don't know about. But they're going to compete regardless. Don't look at their record. Don't look at their preseason record. Look at their district. Look at what their latest games are. It'll let you know what type of team Tatum has. They're going to compete no matter what. That's what Tatum does. So, no, I'm not putting against Jefferson. Fake bullies. Take them all day.
Okay.
All right. Well, that wraps up all of our games from last week. If you want to see who we picked for this week, you can go back and watch the Beast from the East podcast on YouTube. Listen to it. It's on podcast channels. You can go back on YouTube and watch it. But yeah, so, and also, yes, thank you to everybody that's been talking in the chat. Brett's out tonight. We don't have the authority to throw those up onto the screen like he does. So we appreciate all the chats, though. We have been keeping up with them, reading them. All right, guys, before we get out of here, let's talk about the polls. Corey, what you trying to do? Come on now. Anyway, let's talk about the polls that we did this week. We got the new rankings out. So, we're not going anywhere, Aaron. You stay here. Hold on. We're not going nowhere just yet. Let's see. Let's get the. I'm sorry you feel left out, Eddie. I apologize. All right, 6A, 5A poll. It basically did not, or I don't know if it changed from last week. I don't know what last week's poll looked like. I have to go back and look at it. But we got Lufkin at 5, Tyler High at 4, White House at 3, Texas High at 2, and Longview at 1.
Solid.
So, y'all like it?
Yeah, solid.
All right, everybody's in agreement. Love that. Let's go on to the next poll then, the 4A poll, which has had a little movement here in the past few weeks as I bring up last week's poll to compare. So, well, this one's a little – so, to me, I disagree with this already off the top. We'll talk about it. Oh, never mind. I'm sorry. Never mind. No, I don't. Anyway, number 10, we got Rusk. Number 9, we got Center. At number 8, Lindell. Number 7, Van. Number 6, Gilmer. Number 5, Sulphur Springs. Number 4, Chapel Hill. Number 3, Kilgore. Number 2, Pleasant Grove. And number 1, Carthage. Now, if you compare this to last week's poll had Gilmer at number 9. So Gilmer has jumped to 6 in the poll. Lindell remains at 8. Center falls from 7th to 9th. Not sure how that happens with a win. Sulphur Springs stays it actually moves up from 6 to 5. Van falls from 5 to 7, and then the top 4 remain the same. So what y'all's thoughts on that poll?
Okay, this may be a little shocking to y'all. This may be a little shocking. Wait, you said Kilgore's 3, right?
Yes, Kilgore's 3.
I'm just going to be honest with you. Because of the defense, because I think that Kilgore has a better defense than Pleasant Grove, to be honest, I'll put them 2. I would just go ahead and put them 2.
Better defense.
I mean, based on, I just think they, I know I've been seeing PG Kilgore. I mean, I know it's been going back and forth for me lately, but I mean, I don't know. I would just rather have Kilgore at 2. Carthage needs to be 1. Carthage needs to be 1 because they have a win over Kilgore, but I'm just saying.
I would swap Van and Gilmer, just personally.
Well, hold on. There's been a mistake. I'm sorry. There's been a mistake. We'll come back to 4A. There's been a mistake. We'll come back to 4A.
Okay.
Let's just go to 3A and 2A and TAPS. So this one in the 3A, 2A TAPS poll, let's see. Let me bring up last week real quick, but I'll go ahead and start telling you how this one ranks out. At number 10, freshly entering the poll, we have the Overton Mustangs at number 10.
Okay.
Lovelady and West Rusk tied at 8. Hooks is at 7. Garrison 6. Dangerfield 5. Beckville 4. Winsboro 3. Malakoff 2. Timpson 1. I feel like the first 7 haven't changed in about 3 or 4 weeks.
They shouldn't.
It's been the same. And the bottom 3 spots have kind of been interchangeable. But what do y'all think about this 3A poll?
I see
I think it's
Overton.
pretty solid.
Not to see Overton in for sure. Yeah, so what had happened is the 4A poll accidentally got sent the Brett's rankings. So there's Brett's rankings for 4A, guys.
I knew it was a little disrespectful. I knew it was a little disrespectful.
Sorry about that, Brett. I apologize. Here's the tabulated 4A poll. So here's the updated 4A poll now with the tabulated results. We got Rusk at 10, Center at 9, Gilmer at 8, Lindell at 7, Sulphur Springs at 6, Van at 5, Chapel Hill at 4, Kilgore 3, Pleasant Grove 2, and Carthage 1. So if you compare that one to last week, Gilmer still went from 9 to 8. Center fell from 7th to 9th. Again, still don't understand how that happens. Lindell stayed at 7. Van stayed at 5, which is also interesting. Anyway, so what do y'all think about the 4A poll here? Now that we got
that's a little bit better, I guess.
I only had one. I only had one switch.
Yeah, and Aaron agrees with you, Christian. He says he would swap PG with Kilgore.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but Eddie came into the chat with the stats. PG's giving up 14.7 points a game, where Kilgore is giving up 15.8.
Yeah.
It's kind of like 6 of one, half a dozen of the other.
Yeah.
Like they're both really good defenses. So
absolutely.
Anyway, so Vince, where will you be this Friday night?
I will be at the Chapel Hill Kilgore game, and I'm gonna tell you something. I know there's a lot of football being played this Friday night, but if you are not at that game, you are about to miss out. This game has been great for the past couple of years. Last year they played each other twice. Listen, if I could compare it to anything, this is Goku and Vegeta. You know, this is Batman and the Joker, bro. Like this is King Kong and Godzilla. It don't matter who wins. It's the fact that we finna do this forever. This is what it's gonna always be. This is what it comes down to, and I'm glad that it's the final game of the year. Because you hate to see these two teams play off early on, because then judgments get thrown around as who's this and who's that. Let it be the last game of the year. That's cool. This is big. This is a massive game. So yeah, that's where I'm gonna be at, and I think a lot of us are gonna be there. So.
Well, that's what I was about to say. Can we just say we're all gonna be at the Kilgore Chapel Hill game this Friday night?
All right.
I thought about that after you were answering. I was like, man, you know what? Yeah, everybody's gonna be.
Everybody's at that game, so it's gonna be a packed house. Should be packed house.
There's a couple. Before we go, Vince? Is there a game besides Chapel Hill Kilgore? Is there another game that you're looking forward to?
There's a lot of games.
Be thinking about it, you two. Y'all are coming up next. But Vince, you're first. I'll tell you mine. Real quick.
Okay.
I got two. I'm really looking forward to the Timpson Garrison game. I think that'll be a phenomenal game.
I like that.
And then I'm also interested in seeing the Overton Tenaha game, because I want to see if Overton can complete the undefeated season, and also excited about the Harmony Dangerfield game. We know Dangerfield's been rolling. I'm excited to see how that one turns out. But those are my three. So what's your Vince?
I would say honestly the Timpson Garrison game, to me, that is going to be a big game. That's my Jon Snow versus the Night King game. So, that's going to be a big one too. Garrison got their hands full, even though they 9-0. Everybody expecting, Timpson to do what Timpson does. So Garrison, they're going to have to put in some work. So,
Christian, what game are you looking to?
Tyler High 40. That's kind of like the backbreaker.
Yeah.
The whole Tyler
High needs the dub.
The whole Tyler community, if they don't win this game. I mean, it won't be a backbreaker, because I think that, they'll be 6-4 if they lose.
I mean, they still got to have Lufkin win anyway, so.
Yeah. So, I mean, they'll be 6-4 if they lose. But you have to win this game against a charged Forney defense that has been phenomenal all year long. I mean, he'll Longview 13 points. Nobody does that unless you're Alito. But you know what? Forney's not Alito. But no, I can't wait to see that game. Obviously, we are all going to be at the Chapel Hill Kilgore game. I can't wait to see that game. This game, and it's not only personal. It's personal to me because I want Chapel Hill to win. All right, so I mean, I mean, I'll be sideline reporting for that game. I think I will have the opportunity to interview the game-winning coach, whoever that may be. Hopefully, it's Coach Reardon. But if it has to be Coach Clint Fuller, I mean, that works too.
So also, we've got some in the chat that are saying Conrad's going to be calling the Bullard Van game this week. That's an important game. Also, Stephen Phillips said he's looking forward to Malakoff and Grossbeck. That's for a district title as well. I don't think that one will be very close, honestly. I think Malakoff's going to roll in that game. Malakoff's just on another level, and that district is not very competitive after Malakoff. After Malakoff is competitive, but Malakoff is head and shoulders above in that district. So that's another good game. CM, you're up last. What game are you looking forward to?
Chapel Hill versus Kilgo, and you got to be from the area.
That one.
Oh,
we're all going to be at that game. Besides that one.
Palestine and Athens. That's the battle of the fourth place matchup. I think, like I said, I think Athens is a fake bully, disrespectful, and I'm going Palestine all the way in that game. I think Palestine's gonna come out and play well.
Athens, do work, do work.
Cujo versus Forney. And if you're from the Tyler area, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I don't need John Tyler to do anything else but come out with that Cujo spirit and whoop Forney. That is a very winnable football game, as a matter of fact. And they should come out with that Cujo spirit, win that football game, get to the playoffs, so we can see those line flags everywhere around Tyler. And on the north side, they just flying around them Cujo flags everywhere. You know what I'm talking about. You already know what it is.
Yeah.
So,
Derek in the chat says Garrison Timpson's the game of the week to him.
Garrison Timpson.
You can't go wrong with that.
Can't go wrong with that.
All right, Christian, I must say, before we come back next week, I think you can read the chat. You're gonna need to get that smoke detector issue figured out.
Okay, I've been dealing with that for about 2-3 weeks. Listen, I didn't want to say nothing, but my God, I didn't know who it was, but I was like, listen, don't be that guy, because I know too many of my friends that are that guy, and I'm always asking the question, why do you not go buy some batteries? Why?
We talked about this.
I got some 9 volts at the house.
He said it doesn't matter.
First of all, don't be disrespectful. Number one, let that man do whatever he want to do with his smoke detector in his room. Second of all,
man, turn that thing off.
You listen to the words and not the background. That's what you're supposed to do. So Eddie, don't disrespect that. If you can't listen to it, don't watch the show, man. Don't watch the show. You listen to
the words. Oh my God, man, Eddie, don't listen to Corey. Corey crazy.
Man, smoke detector in the background, man. You disrespect my man, smoke detector, dog.
So you that guy.
I'm gonna say one thing. I gotta get this off my chest a little bit. I know we all, do this, do the media thing. I mean, we're all a part of this. We're all, we all gonna be at Kilgore Chat Rule game on Friday and everything like that. I know a lot of people. I know a lot of our opinions, kind of hurt a little bit, because sometimes they're true. But I don't know about you guys, but I just want to let y'all, let anybody know, whether that's coach, fan, whatever. Unless it's what I say, unless it's out of line and out of character, I will not be apologizing.
Can I say something about that? I kind of wanted to touch on that too. It's funny you brought that up, because I wanted to say this real quick before we get out of here. What we do here is entertainment. We do this to entertain y'all. If there's any coaches or players watching, we don't really feel that way about y'all, man. Ain't no disrespect. We talk about it like that, but we just here to entertain people. I don't expect for anybody to have to apologize for just trying to entertain people on the show. Ain't nobody, and I'm gonna say it like this. There is nobody that's gonna get anywhere because of what I said here on this show, or derail their success because of what I said here on the show. It's just pure entertainment. A lot of times, honestly, KO may say, well, Carthage ain't lost the game all year. I don't expect from him to lose another game. I agree with KO. But the thing is, I got to make the show entertaining. So what do? I'm going to hype up Van. I'm going to hype up whoever they play next. I'm gonna hype up Kilgore. Because all of us picking the same team, it ain't no show really. We just do this for entertainment, guys. And we enjoy everybody. We don't really mean to hurt nobody's feelings. So if your feelings are hurt by anything that is said on this show, don't take it personal. We just trying to entertain people. If you hear something that somebody may say that you don't like about your team this week, keep watching, because we probably gonna hype you up next week. We do that all the time.
Fantastic.
And don't call us.
That's a great way to end it.
Don't call us cowards either. There's a lot of people.
Y'all got a problem. Y'all know what my ad is.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Anyway, thanks to Brett for allowing me to host this. Appreciate y'all fellas for joining us. Thanks for everybody in the chat. I appreciate y'all.
Yeah.
Thanks to Power Plus mouth guards.
You got it.
Sponsoring. Make sure you get some mouth guards in there. Make sure you don't break no teeth. For Vince, for Christian, for Corey, I'm KO Kyle Owens. Y'all have a good night.
Let's go Buffs.
I can't.
Is your demanding work lifestyle in need of fire-resistant clothing that can keep up? Well, L4FR clothing should be your go-to for quality, affordability, safety, and style. L4FR was founded by a third-generation oil field worker who is also a veteran. Thus, this company has a deep appreciation for reliability and longevity, all while we provide first-rate customer service. Our durable apparel will serve you well for many years to come, whether you're working on a pipeline, a lineman climbing utility poles, or in any other environment requiring fire-resistant apparel. L4FR has you covered. Our apparel is tough enough to resist hazardous conditions while still providing high comfort and style. L4FR provides clothing options to ensure your safety and comfort, whether you're on the job or not. To view our complete inventory of flame-resistant garments, please visit our online store at l4frclothing.com or give us a call at 817-757-4935. Si habla español.